I'm Gordon Brubaker, and I'm running for Mineral County Board of Education. And I want to share a few things. My card that I pass out says vote for Gordon Brubaker, that's me. And on the back side it says integrity, transparency, and accountability. And a lot of politicians, I feel like, will say, well, I have integrity and I will bring integrity to this. Well, I'm not going to approach it from that way, because my goal is to bring integrity to the board. And not through me particularly, but that the board needs to have integrity in what it does. Now, on June the 3rd of last year of 2025, I brought a job description to the Board of Education, and this job description for board members comes from the West Virginia School Board Association Board of Education Member Manual. And it says in Chapter 1, quote, members of a Board of Education occupy a fiduciary position and are under a duty to make detailed inquiry into any matter which appears to be wrong. Failure to do so is negligence, and under appropriate circumstances may constitute a violation of law with attendant removal of the culpable members from office. Now that's from the West Virginia the law. I shared this with the state, and they said, where did you get that? I said, well, it's in your documents. If you just read the documents, the Board of Education, we are to be a fiduciary member. Now, that's a big word, and I'm still learning it, but it means we represent you. We don't represent ourselves. We don't represent the school superintendent. We don't even represent the school system. We represent those who put us into office. We have a fiduciary responsibility to hold the superintendent and to hold the school system to accountability. That's a different thing I'll get to later, but to hold them to the integrity of what they're supposed to be doing. In other words, if someone has a job description and they're not fulfilling their job description, then they don't have integrity in fulfilling that responsibility. And the thing that I read from the state law is saying that we can be removed from office if we're not looking, and I love this, into if we refuse to make a detailed inquiry into any matter which appears to be wrong. It doesn't have to be wrong, but it may appear to be wrong. I'm not accusing anybody of anything. I'm just saying there's things that we need to look at, and the school board needs to have integrity to look into these things that have been raised multiple times in school board meetings by myself, by other people, by families that have come to the school board that have not gotten satisfaction. We need to investigate, why is this continuing to happen? With several lawsuits now filed or soon to be filed against the current Board of Education, it is imperative that our Board of Education begin its own investigation into school personnel, their supervision, as well as its hiring policies. The Board of Education oversees the county superintendent, that they perform their duties responsibly. Instead, it appears that the superintendent dominates the Board of Education. And I'm concerned about that, because the Board of Education is supposed to be the boss of the superintendent, and his function is to carry out the commands or the desires of the school Board of Education, not the reverse. And I want to bring that into the board, that we become the boss, that we become responsible to you, the citizenry, to the students, to the parents, to the teachers, that we make people accountable for the things that they're supposed to do, and that is to educate our children that they can leave high school and they can enter into the workforce with more than a 33% of reading level and math level. They need to be able to be competent. I heard someone recently say that their goal for West Virginia is that we would have a worldwide degree of education. Well, if you can't read and write, you'll never reach that level. We've got to start with the fundamentals. We've got to start with the basics. And we've got to do right by our teachers and by all the employees and by all the children and their parents to make our children citizens, competent, capable citizens of West Virginia and of the United States of America. I'm Gordon Brubaker. Remember to vote on May the 12th, and I encourage you, vote for me. Thank you very much.